Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's 30-Minute Mentor. Let me just getting an echo. So let me just see. If we can get rid of it there. Okay, I think we should be good to go. If you can let me know that you can see my screen and hear my voice in the chat section, I would appreciate it, please. Not had a very easy time of it today. I took the dog out for a walk about 8 o'clock, came back, and the computer had blown up. Not exactly, but it had all gone black. So I rebooted it, and every time I tried to do something with it, it would freeze. So I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'm messing around since about 9 o'clock this morning, trying to get things working, getting files transferred onto my laptop bit by bit. And so I am not particularly well prepared in terms of slides and this sort of thing. Can you hear me and see me? Well, see my screen. Hi, Marlinda. Good to have you here. Can the people that are here in the room please just let me know that things are working and you can hear me? I am working on my laptop rather than my main computer. As I say, it's all gone pear-shaped today. It's about 3 years old, so I suppose it's planned obsolescence setting in, but I'll take it to the computer shop and get them to do a service on it when I finish this webinar, and it'll prompt me to actually do what I've been thinking about doing for a while, which is buying an Apple computer. Okay, still not got any response from everybody. Who have we got? Let me just have a look. I know Marlinda's in the room. Bobby, Chen, Salvador, Ali, Dennis. Can somebody just please, Melinda, Catherine, George, Magical Reptile. Why? That's I don't know. If somebody can let me know. Hi, Bobby, that you can actually see the screen and hear me. I know there is a time delay on things, but by now somebody should have been able to let me know if things are working. I don't even have my other computer set up so that I can monitor this. So I don't know. Yes, you can. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Bobby. Thank you indeed. Right. Marlinda, hello. Hello to everybody. Hello to you all. As I say, I've had a little bit of a hectic time this morning. Main computer has decided it needs a rest. It's vacation time. And so for the past 4 hours, I've been struggling to just get something working so that we can do something constructive here today. So, as I say, not got much in the way of slides. I'm happy, very happy to answer any questions that you have. Just type them in the chat section. Things that are stopping you getting where you want to go. I've got a couple of announcements that I'll be making later on as well. But I think last week I told you that really it's very, very simple making money online. Doesn't mean it's easy. What it means is it is simple. You've only got to do 2 things effectively, 2 things well, and you can make a fortune. One is building a list, and the other is communicating with that list. And that is really all it boils down to for online marketing. There are lots of ways of doing those two things, but that is all that is required. And if you do those two, learn to do those two things really, really well, then you will make a lot of money. And I've got my subliminal messages flashing across here, so let me just turn those off. They're for my benefit, not for yours, but I mean, I'm stopping them. It's a program I have that flashes subliminal messages on my screen about every 20 seconds or something, telling me how wonderful I am and all this sort of thing, you know, the usual sort of thing, bolstering my ego. And also it's to do with my goals. It's presenting my goals to me so that I'm never losing track of where I want to go and how I'm going to get there. So that's what, if you saw those flashes across the screen, I've turned them off now. Sometimes when I'm recording videos for sales presentations and things like that, I forget to turn them off because I don't really notice them anymore because I'm so used to seeing them, but this hopefully doing some good. But I know it frightens a lot of people. They're watching this sales video and then all of a sudden they get these things flashing across and they think, oh, this is spooky, and they turn it off. So anyway, those are the two things that you need to be concentrating on learning to do: list building and list communication. If you haven't got a list, you can't really get practiced at communicating with your list. But as soon as you've got one person on your list, that is when you can start learning to communicate effectively. But I'm going to be talking about list building this week. I'm probably going to alternate a little bit between the two over the coming weeks, because I want to concentrate on this theme. I want to keep things simple. As I say, it doesn't mean that things are necessarily easy. There are things that you have to learn. It doesn't either mean that it's hard. But what it does require is for you to learn what to do and to practice doing it. And anything that you want to be good at, you've got to be prepared to be bad at it first. And often scared of it sometimes. I remember it as a kid. We used to go to the swimming baths and there were these sort of tiers of steps, things that you could dive off into the deep end of the swimming pool. And when you first got to the swimming pool, just to dive in off the side of the pool was a bit of a challenge. And then when you went up these steps, I think there were about 4 or 5 of them to different heights, and the highest one was probably only about 12 foot. But when you stood up there and you're looking down and you've not done it before, it's a scary sensation. But as you get used to doing it and you get up there and you do it 2 or 3 times, then it becomes more normal. And the more you do it, the more you get used to it and the better you get at it. And it's all about that practice. But if you stop practicing, like if you don't go to the swimming baths for a few months, 6 months, a year for some reason, and then you start going again, and then you think, oh yeah, and you climb up those steps and you get on the top one, you think, my word, this is a long way. I don't remember it being like this. And it's not quite like starting over again, but you've got to refresh that. You've got to get back into doing it. So consistency is what you need to be doing. You need to be doing things on a completely consistent basis, never letting up, and practicing at getting better and better every day. And I assure you that even though you probably don't notice it, the more you do it, you will be getting better, you will be improving, and gradually your results will start to improve. As I say, it's not hard, but it's not easy, and it is simple. It's not easy because you have to practice and you have to keep going. And because there's so much rubbish taught and talked about and propagated across the internet about how you can buy this product for $37 or $7 or $57 or even $1,000, stick it on your computer, press a few buttons and wake up in the morning and your bank balance is overflowing with lovely money, you know, because of all that nonsense, which if you've been online any length of time, you've seen it, you've probably fallen for it, you've bought some of this stuff and it's not worked. So it's hard because you've got this idea that you're going to be rich overnight, and you start doing these things and doing these things and doing these things, and when you start, you're not making any money, and if you are making money, it's very small, and it takes a while, it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes persistence to build that into something. But if you keep doing it, eventually you get to a tipping point where all of a sudden things start taking off. It's like an aircraft. It revs its engines up and it goes down the runway, and it's accelerating all the time until it gets to a point where it lifts off the runway, and it's still using a lot of energy, but it's climbing rapidly. Then it's climbing rapidly, and as it gets up to its cruising height, the energy it needs to continue on its journey is greatly reduced. Most of the energy is used in getting it off the ground and getting it up there. And it's the same with your business. You've got to get it off the ground and you've got to get it up there. And when you do, it doesn't mean that you stop doing things altogether. Much of the stuff will be automated, but you'll still need to spend a little bit of time, a couple of hours a day perhaps, just checking on things and putting things in order. And there will be occasion where you'll be able to take a few days off without checking things at all, and it'll still run. But you still got to just keep your eye on things, keep it ticking over, keep things going, keep it growing, even if it's slowly, but it'll take far less energy. And that's why it's hard, because people have the wrong idea and people aren't prepared to learn and put in that consistent, persistent effort. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to learn to build your list. And if I can get the next slide to work, how do I? Okay, so for building a list, there are really only two things you need. You need tools and you need traffic. So once again, keeping it really, really, really simple. There are certain things you need in terms of tools, and these are not optional, they're required. If you can imagine, if you had a field and it was full of weeds, and you wanted to plant corn there, and you didn't have any spades or shovels or picks or anything, all you had was your bare hands. You could go out there and you'd be trying to pull the weeds out. They'd be snapping off, leaving the roots in. You might be trying to dig the soil with your hands. You wouldn't get very far before your hands were wrecked. They were so sore that you couldn't use them anymore. And it's the same with you building your business. If you haven't got the tools and you're trying to build a business, you're going to get wrecked to the state where mentally you're just not going to be able to do it anymore. And it's the same. Now, if you've got that same field and you've got a fork and a spade, then you can go out there and it'd be easier to get the weeds out, because you get the fork in and you get them under and it'll loosen the soil. Then you can pull them up, shake them off and throw them to one side, and gradually you can clear the field. And you've got these tools, and you'll be able to use a rake, and you'll have a dibber to plant the seeds, and you can plant the seeds and rake them over, and you'll have a hoe to any new weeds that are coming up. All these tools that you will need, and that's all doing it manually. And then you can take it a step up, where you get a plow, and you can push that plow along, and then you take it a step up further where you get a tractor that pulls the plow, and it all makes life easier. So the better your tools are, the easier it's going to be for you. But it's not an option. You need tools. Without tools, you're not going to make it work. You have to have tools before you get anywhere. And there'll be people out there that say, oh, you don't need a website, you don't need an autoresponder, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need the other. I'm telling you, you do. I don't know anybody that is making money online that does not have all the tools in place. So get the tools. Some of them you can get free. If you do searches online, you can find free autoresponders. You might even find free website hosting. I don't know whether that's still available today. There probably is somewhere. But some of them you're going to have to pay for. And the more you pay, generally speaking, the better the tools. And the better the tools, the easier it's going to be. It's like whether you're doing it all with your fork and spade, or whether you've got a super tractor pulling a plow that turns everything over so you don't have to weed it, and then you've got another tool that comes along and levels it all out. Then you've got an automatic machine that goes behind your tractor that plants all the seeds, and you've got another one that sprays insecticides to save you weeding and all this sort of stuff. The better your tools, the easier it's going to be. And generally speaking, the better the tool you use, the more expensive they're going to be. That doesn't always apply, but generally speaking, that's going to be the case. So if you're on a tiny budget, you're going to have to work that much harder. If you're on a bigger budget, then you need to discuss with somebody exactly what you need. And I suggest you contact me. If you've got a decent budget, you can contact me and I'll tell you where you can get everything that you need at the best price. There's no need to pay $2,000 to Infusionsoft just to set your account up, and then $300 plus a month, depending on the number of leads you've got, for a great CRM system, which is what I paid about a little over a year ago, I suppose now. Because I wanted to do things better, because at that time I couldn't find anything better than that. Okay, I know where you can get something for far less than that is just as good. So you don't need to spend that $2,300 a month, but you will be looking at a reasonable monthly. I can show you where you can get everything sorted out for your tools that you need for probably I just have a think. Yeah, about $150 a month. Okay, and that will give you everything that you need. That'll give you your autoresponder, your hosting, your split testing, your tracking, a funnel builder, your CRM, which is like Infusionsoft and your automation, and some very, very good training as well. So if you can get to 150, yeah, you're going to have a much easier life than if you're struggling along on $7, which, if you don't know where to look, all you're going to get for your $7 is your hosting. If you use, I set up a site for low budgets called SAWP, SAWWP.com. And for $7, you can get your hosting, you can get an autoresponder, and you can get also computer backup, which is essential, because if you've not backed up your computer and something happens, like happened to me this morning, your files are gone. What can you do? Fortunately, I could access my files from my laptop because I back up everything automatically using the exact same system that you can get for $7, and it's all there online. And then you can pull those files down from another computer anywhere in the world if you want. If you've gone somewhere else and you need a file from your computer, you say, can I borrow your computer? You go and you log in and you can access those files. And when your computer throws a wobbler like mine has, and this is the third time it's happened to me, I don't think it's as serious this time as the previous two. Previous two, it was total crash, and it was a horrendous mess. But but even if it had been a total crash, I've got all my files backed up. Now you can get that for $7 together with an autoresponder and hosting for your website. So if you're on a low budget, I recommend that. Is the autoresponder the best in the world? No, it's not, but it's as good as most, and it'll certainly do the job and get you going. Is it the only one you'll ever need? Probably not, because it depends on what you're doing and where the opportunities are. Because most opportunities that you join, if they have a system that hooks into an autoresponder, most of them will only offer you maybe GetResponse and Aweber, because they're the two most common. So you may need, for example, if you're in I can't think now, but most opportunities will say, okay, you either use GetResponse, they might only give you like GetResponse, or they might only give you Aweber. Some will give you the choice of Aweber, GetResponse, and perhaps a few others. And it's a little bit more common now where you can pretty much some opportunities will give you the opportunity to integrate virtually any autoresponder. And if that's the case, then yeah, you can integrate the SOAP autoresponder. But in a lot of opportunities, they won't. They'll only work with the big companies. So it may not be the only one you'll ever need. It's the one that I use most now because it's a lot less cost. I mean, I've got thousands of email addresses stored, tens of thousands, maybe yeah, probably hundreds of thousands. And they're spread amongst a lot of autoresponders, but gradually I'm moving them to SOAP because it's costing me less. If you've got 10,000 leads in Aweber, 10,000 email addresses in Aweber, you're paying hundreds of dollars a month for that. So I mean, at one time I was paying $800 a month to Aweber just for autoresponders. So you need to think about things and do them. But I will be moving a lot of mine now to this new CRM I've found, but it takes time. And if you're starting out, if you can start out with something that's got a great CRM, like if you were starting out 5 years ago, then you probably would only have the choice of something like Infusionsoft. There are a few of them, but they're all high ticket. They're all like $2,000 to get going and $200 or $300 a month for just maybe 30,000 leads, up to 30,000, and the more over that you pay more. But it would have been recommended because it's difficult to get everything changed over very easily. For me it is anyway. I'm not very technical, and so to move all your stuff over and try and get them pigeonholed, and it's so time consuming that it's not an easy task. So if you can start off where you mean to end up, and like I say, I can show you where to go for about $150 a month, and you'll be able to start in the right place. But if you're on a low budget, $7 a month will get you started with sawwp.com, because you need those things. You also need a split tester and you need a tracker. Those are going to cost you extra. And the good split tester and tracker, sometimes you can get them built into the same thing. You're probably going to be paying, can't remember, ClickMagic's quite good, and I can get you a trial with that if we're interested. I think it's about $40 a month once the trial's ended, but don't hold me to that. I mean, I pay more because I'm at the top end, so it's. But there are several. Once again, do a Google search and have a look round, but try and find something that is going to be with you for a few years. You don't want to be having to switch everything into another one. You know, you want something that is there, it's working, you can build your list and you can segment your list and it'll tell you where you are with things and who's answered this, and you can move people into other lists because of it. And you need that ability. And you need hosting. You do need a website, because if you've not got a website, no matter what you're promoting, if it's something that a lot of other people are promoting, you're going to find that the links that you're promoting are going to get blacked at some point, because anything that is promoted heavily on somewhere like Facebook, for example, is a classic. Once they see that there's a lot of traffic going to this link, even though there are lots of different affiliate IDs on the end, they will start blocking that link. There are various reasons for it. The real genuine reason for it is because they want people to pay for advertising and they don't want to be giving free stuff away. But they'll come up with all sorts of other reasons for it. And so you get really reputable companies like JVZoo, for example, and you can't put a JVZoo link up on. JVZoo is an affiliate program like ClickBank. I'm not sure you can use ClickBank either on Facebook now, but you might be able to. And you'll find that they won't let you post that link. So no matter what product it's linked to, just because it's JVZoo, you won't be able to promote it. But if you've got a website, you can write a little blog post about whatever it is you're promoting, saying why you think it's great and everything else. You can put your link to JVZoo in your website, and you can promote your website link, your blog post link, and there'll be no problem with it. And it's never going to get blacked. It's never going to get blacklisted, because it's just your blog and you're just posting blog posts. So that's one reason why you need a website. There are lots of others, but you do need a website. So you need a website. You need to register a domain. There are lots of deals going, but you look at deals carefully, because some registrars will say, okay, you get your first year for 99 cents, and you find out that your second year is going to cost you $20, where everywhere else it's $12. And you say, oh, well, that's okay, because I'll do it for a year and then I'll move it to somewhere else. And they say, okay, that's fine, you can move. We charge a $25 fee for you to move your account. So you don't win, you can't win. So you need to look at things. But two of the most reputable really are GoDaddy and Namecheap. And if you compare your prices, find your domain that you want, and then just check how much it's going to cost you on GoDaddy and find out how much it's going to cost you on Namecheap. And my favorite is Namecheap, I've got to be honest. You will decide then which you want. But it's not a lot of money. You're looking at $12 maybe a year for your domain name registration. And then, as I say, if you can get hosting at a lot of places for $7 or around $7 a month. But with SOAP, as I say, you get your autoresponder and your computer backup thrown in with that as well. You won't get that with hosting anywhere else, I don't think. Not that I know of. So you need those things. I'm not sure whether I've got another slide here. Just let me see if I have. We can. No. I only managed to get those slides done. So tools, that's what you need. You need autoresponder. That's to store your list and so that you can contact your list, so that you can mail to your list. You need a domain and you need hosting for the domain. You need computer backup and you need a split tester. And you need a tracker, because you track it. I mean, there are other things you need as well, but certainly those are your basics. But you need your tracker because you need to know where your traffic is coming from. If you're buying traffic somewhere, or even if you're getting free traffic, you need to know if you're spending time posting on forums or classified ad sites or whatever they may be. You want to know if that time is effective. If you're spending an hour posting on different free classified sites and it's taking you, say, 5 minutes on each one, so that's 12 sites you're posting to, and you're only getting leads from one of the sites, you're wasting almost an hour a day, aren't you? And the only way to find that out is by tracking what you're doing. There are free ways of tracking, but they're so limited that I don't believe they're viable. But you can use things like Bitly, bit.ly, and you can get a free account there, and it will show you where your traffic is coming from. But it's messy. You have to have lots of different links and post the different links to different to every different one, and it's not easy to correlate your results. But it's possible to get just that basic information with a free tracking system. But with a paid tracking system, you get so much more, and you can even. Oh well, I'm not going to go into it. It's a whole training session on its own. So that's your tools and traffic. If you're on a really shoestring budget, then you're going to have to struggle and get all the free traffic you can get. And one of the ways is by posting blog entries and then advertising your blog. You can get some good leads from your blog. You won't get masses and masses of traffic. You won't be getting 1,000 clicks, certainly not in the beginning. After you've been running your blog for a couple of years, you might be getting more than that. But even if you're only getting 2 or 3 clicks, they are good targeted traffic, really high quality from a blog. So that is one way if you're doing free. But the people that are making the money are using paid traffic. And the reason is it's easily scalable. You can buy your paid traffic. You buy a couple of 100 clicks and they'll cost you anything from $100 to $400 depending on where you're buying them from and the quality of the clicks. And you can test 200 clicks and see how they're converting and what's happening with them. And if they are not converting very well, then you need to make adjustments and change things around a little bit and try another 200 and so on until you get into a profit situation or a break-even situation, a situation that is financially viable. It's not necessarily even a profit situation. It depends on what you're doing, but something that you've decided is financially viable. And then you can scale it up. You can make it from 200, you can go to 300 and check that it's still working right, and you just keep tweaking, keep trying to get better results. But as long as you're over your minimum return level, whatever that's set at, then you can keep scaling up 400 and 500, and then if the 500 is doing well, you might want to go to 1,000, and the 1,000 is doing well, you might want to go to 2,000. And that's what you do. You scale up gradually, and you start with a smallish amount. Once again, if you're in limited capital, you might be tempted to buy like 50. The trouble with buying 50 clicks is it's not really enough to get an idea of how well things are converting. You might get 5 sales from 50 clicks, but that doesn't mean that you're going to convert at 10% when you start scaling up. It means you've just been lucky with that. That probably means you've just been lucky anyway. Or you could get no clicks, and that doesn't mean that it's no good. It just means that you've not done enough to test. 200 is about a good level to start testing with. So that is a little bit on tools and traffic that this week. When you say my website, do you mean blog? Asked Bobby. Yeah, I mean, at one time a blog used to just purely and simply refer to an online diary, if you like, something that was updated on a regular basis. I can't remember what it stands for now, but it was basically a sort of like a diary, something that you posted different comments on day after day after day after day, and they called it a blog. But blog software has got so sophisticated now that people use what used to be used just for blogging, just for this diary entry, to build whole websites. You can build whole websites, and probably 99% of marketers nowadays use WordPress, which is a blogging platform, but you can build pages. There's lots of things you can do. There are lots of plugins. Many of them are free that will allow you to expand on the basic setup that WordPress offers. So yeah, blog and website are really interchangeable nowadays. Most people that have a website, they may not have a blog on it, even though they're building with WordPress. They may just have set a series of pages up, but most websites will have a blog attached, and most blogs will have a website attached. Not all of them. Some blogs are purely blogs and some websites are purely websites, but a lot of them have both, so a dual purpose. But yeah, when I say website or blog, I mean a web blog. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, I mean both. So that is the sort of getting a little bit deeper into what you need. What I have, I said I got a couple of announcements. I've got a couple of programs that I'm putting together. One of them I started with probably 7 months ago, about midsummer time. It's about 7 months. And that was a lot in development. Then we went into pre-launch around about beginning of December, I think. Might have been sometime in November. And that is coming up pretty soon. And there's going to be a webinar explaining a lot about that. So you will, if you've registered for this webinar, you will be on my mailing list. You want to keep your eyes open for that webinar, and you want to be building in pre-launch. And if you're building in pre-launch, I'll just put a link in for you if I can work my computer well enough. This is the chat section. I can't see where I write. There. It's on my laptop, so I have to scroll down to get there. it's and if you're on a low budget, I put a comma in after the www, so it should be www dot. I don't think you can edit. You can't edit things once you've put them up, can you? Oh, you can, yeah. Edit. Let me change that to a dot, and then it should be clickable. That's better. Now that should be a clickable link, I think. Yep, that's a clickable link. And if you're on a low budget, that is totally free, and it will enable you to make money with no out-of-pocket expense. But if you take my advice, you will build a list by promoting that, and there are instructions on how to do that once you've joined it. Whatever you're doing, whatever you are doing online, whatever you are doing, you must add building a list to it. Whatever action you are taking, the main result you want is list building. Okay, sales are going to happen down the line. List building is the most important thing. So whatever you're promoting, whether it's free, whether they say you don't need a website, whatever it is, you need to collect an email address. You need to build your list. Even if you're sending people to your blog, if you've written, for example, a review of a product or something on your blog, and then you're posting to different groups and on your Facebook page and on your fan page in Facebook and all this sort of stuff, and sending out on Twitter, people get to your blog post and they read it. When they click on the link, that should go to an opt-in page. They should have to opt in to get where you want them to go. You need to be building your list. That is your primary objective. So even though there is no list building automatically included in It's Happening Soon, you need to be building one. And as I say, there are instructions in there on how to do that. So that's one of the programs. And then the other one, I actually don't, well, I do have a website, but I don't want to give it out at this stage. But I can somewhere. I have a Facebook group, and I'll get a link for that. Copy. I only wanted a couple of hundred members really, because I wanted to launch it small and then build. But we've got almost 700 members in the group now. But this, I've lost my, there we go. Let me stick this link in, paste. Okay, that's the Facebook group. But this is a group where I am going to be helping people get to at least $5,000 a month in 3 to 6 months. A lot of people are going to do it faster. The slow people, it might take them 6 months, but it's going to cost you money. So if you've got no budget, if you've got no capital, don't waste your time even joining the group. I mean, it's costing you nothing to join the group, but it's not going to get you anywhere if you're not prepared to put some money into your future. So those are the two links I've got for you, and that's going to be massive. And that one we're working on now. We're on Thursday. The trouble is I've got no proper computers at the moment. Well, I have, but it's going to be probably next Monday or Tuesday by the time I can get a webinar set up for that and it's ready to go. Might be earlier. The minimum cost for that will be $25, but effectively $25 isn't a good investment, because you're going to need to get traffic and you're going to need your other tools and things. So there's a lot built into it. I think it's going to be an amazing program, and it's going to get people success. But people that have more money will make more money and make it faster. That's really what it boils down to. If you've only got $25 to get started with it, then it's like just having a little hand trowel to do your 1 acre field and plant your corn. If you've got a good budget, then you can get a tractor and a plow and all the bits. So that's what we're going to be teaching people, and that's going to be in that other link, and the best way is to get in the group there. But if you're on my mailing list, you will be informed about them anyway. Could you say anything about 10 before we finish? IO 10. Is that, are you talking about that scam that was supposed to be a binary investment thing, Bobby? If you are, yeah, instant options, I think it was called. If you are, then basically, yeah, I mean, that went bottom up. It's cost me a lot of money, because I've guaranteed people that have gone into that. And I've had some people saying, when will you be releasing the money? Like, I've got it in my back pocket, you know. I haven't. I invested it with instant options. So what I've got to do now is I've got to take money out of my resources, which I can't do instantly. I can't just pull it out of thin air. But within 6 months, that will be, everybody will have at least their money back on that. The shareholders, if you were a shareholder, then you will be in profit. If you went and joined instant options, then my guarantee is at $1,000. So that was the minimum to invest with them. So you'll get your $1,000 back. If you were if you went and invested more than $1,000, well, my guarantee is only up to 1,000. So in that case, you would lose some money. John says, when can we expect to learn about itshappeningsoon.com? Very soon. I can't give you a date because I'm waiting for some programming stuff. I am planning the webinar. There is a if you log into your It's Happening Soon back office, there should be a pop-up that comes there to ask you to vote on the best time for the webinar. I want as many people on it as live as possible so that we can answer any questions that you have when we start explaining things. And once we have the time decided, excuse me, then we will probably have a vote on the day. And we were aiming for sometime in February for the launch, and I think that's probably still going to happen. That's going to be in beta, of course. It won't be the finished article, but it will be a lot more than it is now, which is just a pre-launch site. It's just something that gives you the opportunity to build your list and build your downline effectively. So I don't know. Hopefully, couple of weeks we'll have that webinar, maybe less, maybe a bit more, depends on the programmers. At the moment, just concentrate on getting more and more people in. The more people you have in, the greater your potential income will be. And after you've built your network, if you like, the people that are in the business with you, the income that is generated will be totally passive. There will be no quotas for you to keep. There will be no purchases for you to make. There'll be nothing for you to do. It will just be income that is generated based principally on the size and activity of the people that are in there. And when I talk about activity, there will be other ways of making money with it, which people can do things to make to generate income. And if they do those things, then you'll make money. So it's happening soon, as soon as possible is really all I can tell you. I'm hoping still that it'll be sometime in February. So there we go. Bobby says, is there a possibility that they may pay out? I very much doubt it, Bobby. I spoke to the owner before we got involved in it, and he was very forthcoming, and I spoke to him after I tried to get some money out, and he was very offhand and just disappeared. So no, I think there is little or no chance. What's a sensible budget for it? For what, John? You're building, and I'll answer that in general terms. No matter what you're doing, you are building a business, and the more money you invest in that business sensibly, the better the tools you will have and the more traffic you will be able to purchase. If you're running, for example, if you're running 200 at a time ads, let's say they cost you an average of a dollar a piece, which is a good average for a reasonable quality click. So it's costing you $200. Now, even if you're breaking even on a $200 ad send, which won't normally happen when you start anyway, you wouldn't get your $200 back instantly. So you bought 200 clicks. It might take 7 days to get those clicks all out. It might be another 7 days before the bulk of your sales are in. So that's 14 days. And in some instances, it might take you a month to get paid, depending on what you're selling and who it's with and all the rest of it. So it could be 6 weeks from you spending your $200 before you've got your money back to invest in another ad. So if you've only got 200 to spend on ads, you can't send them out faster than probably every 6 or 7 weeks. So it's going to take you longer to build your business. If you've got $1,000 to spend on ads, you know what your results are pretty quick. You know your results in 7 to 10 days. So you can do another ad every 10 days because you've got the capital behind it. And then gradually, as your money comes in, you should by that time have got something that's working well, and you can start scaling up your business. So the more money you have, the better. Also, as I say, you need your tools. I can get you most of your tools for about $150 a month. So just for your tools and your traffic, I don't know, you want to be looking at $300–400 probably a month as a sort of minimum realistic budget to get where you want to go fast. And if you've got more than that, you'll get where you want to go faster and you'll make more money faster. If you've got less than that, then it's going to slow things down, and it depends on how much less you've got. So it's difficult to say what a sensible budget for any business is. It's what you can afford to get where you want to go in the speed you want to get there. If you want to go from Los Angeles to New York and you're walking, it'll take you a long time. So you could get a bike, it'll take you a little bit less. You could get a motor car, which will get you there in a few days or a week or whatever it takes. Or you could jump on a plane and get there in a few hours. And it's the same with your business. It's the same with your business. The more you have to back your business, the more you invest, the more capital you have, you put into your business, then the more efficient your business is going to be at getting you from A to B. Okay, now I'm not sort of advocating that you go out and spend $5,000 on Empower Network products in the hope that you can sell 2 or 3 a month, which is what they'll ask you to do if you go to Empower Network, for example. I'm not advocating that because you've got $30,000 you get into Mobe and buy their titanium package, which is 30 grand or something, in the hope that you're going to sell a few and make massive commissions on them. I'm advocating that you position yourself in the best possible way to break even on a $200 or a 200 click ad spend, so that you can work your way up and scale it up. And you can't do that with some of these things that you've been told about high ticket items. There is a place for high ticket items, don't get me wrong. 60 to 70% of your income eventually will come from high ticket items, but it's not what you want to be doing from the get-go. You don't want to be going and get talked into spending all that money on these things because you can make massive commissions if you're all in. You know, that's a rip-off. So no, I'm talking about getting the tools, getting the traffic, having a funnel, and for 150 I can get you an excellent funnel builder as well. I mean, funnel builders now, I mean, you can go to ClickFunnels. I think they're $297 for you can probably get it for less. You can probably get it for about $50 at a sort of starting level. But the sort of level that you're going to need to progress to, you're looking at about $279, I think it is, for ClickFunnels. There's a good funnel in the High Traffic Academy. That's an excellent funnel builder, but you've got to be an elite member there, and I think the elite membership is $290 or something. You get a lot more than just the funnel builder in High Traffic Academy, so that's better. But I can show you where you can get a funnel builder and a lot more for a lot less. You said 25 was too low. What's a sensible budget? I thought I covered that. $25 is only going to get, it's like buying most business opportunities will charge you $25 just to be an affiliate, and then you've probably got to spend money on something to, you know, you've got nothing to sell with a lot of them. $25 is, if you're serious about your future, you know, $25, it's what, 80 cents a day. Is that all you're worth? When I launch this this 2016 success campaign, yeah, there will be a complete funnel there. There will be figures to support what I've produced. That doesn't mean you're going to get it. You might do better, you might do worse, but at least you will have something to base your decisions on. There will be the products, there will be the tools, there will be the funnels, there will be everything there. And you're going to need traffic, and we'll be talking about where you can get the traffic and this sort of thing. So that'll all be included. But what are you worth, John? I mean, are you worth $1 a day, or 80 cents a day, or $10 a day, or $20 a day? What's your future worth? If you were to go out and buy a business in the high street that was going to make you $5,000 a month, how much would you have to pay for it? If you're going to make $5,000 a month from a business, after all wages were paid, how much would you have to pay for it? I'll tell you now, you would be lucky to get it for $200,000. It would cost you between $200,000 and $500,000, a business that would make you $5,000 a month. So think about what you're worth and what your future is worth. And you shouldn't be thinking about what it's going to cost. You should be thinking about, how much am I going to make? You've got to start looking at things as an entrepreneur. What is the potential income from this? And once again, as I say, I'm not talking about getting sold crazy stuff like a $30,000 titanium package for a 2-week holiday, basically, in something like Mob or what else is it called, My Top Tier Business. Because when you sell one, you're going to make 20 grand or whatever they give you for it. You know, I'm talking about genuine investment in tools and traffic to generate an income and get a funnel working that will produce a profit. But the more you've got, the better. If you've got 30,000, like the people that are putting into Mob, then there is no reason why you can't be making 30,000 a month within a couple of months. But if you've only got $25, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle just to break even for a couple of months. Because you've got no assets, you've got nothing to use, you've got no tools, you're going to be just plodding along to try and make your money back on your monthly subscription of $25. It's hard. So it's something that you have to decide yourself, but you have to think, what are you worth? What's your future worth? What is the potential? Okay, that's what entrepreneurs look at. They look at, what can I make out of it, not what does it cost. And that is where people go wrong. They say, oh, I can't afford that because it's $100. You can afford it if it's going to make you $1,000. You can afford it if it's going to make you $100 because you're breaking even on it. You got to look at what you're going to be getting back. Okay. Any other questions? Because we're out of time, baby. So if there aren't any more questions, I want to thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. I want you to be successful. And I want you to understand that there are only 2 things that you need to learn: list building and talking to your list, communication, list building and communication. And to build your list, there are only two things you need: tools and traffic. And if you've not got a list, there's nothing else to learn, because nobody to communicate with. If you've not got a list, you've got no business. And we'll be talking about more ways of building lists and doing things as we progress through the weeks of this year. Okay, God bless you all, and I'll see you next week, if not before. Stop broadcast, click.